So, Akin, it's your first time here. I want to start from the beginning, and I would love to know about your origin and mission of Azteco. So, could you start by telling us about the origins of Azteco and what specific need or gap in the market you aimed to address with your Bitcoin voucher service?
Well, my interest in synthetic money, which Bitcoin is, goes back many years, back to the time of Xiaomi and eCash. And Xiaomi and eCash was a centralized attempt to make an electronic money that works over the internet. And I immediately saw that this was a way to produce a money that could be widely used that replaced the dollar. And so I tried to start a business based on the Xiaomi and eCash. But for one reason or another, the eCash company went away because it was a company run by a group of people, essentially a centralized organization. And then they had to stop doing that because the people who ran the software essentially went away. The service didn't exist. So fast forward into 2010. I think it was December 2000 or December 2010, probably. I can't remember. And I read about something called Bitcoin. And in the intervening year, between Xiaomi and eCash and Bitcoin, I've been playing around with things with Napster and those sorts of things to do with file sharing, and of course BitTorrent. And those services taught everyone that you don't have to have a single server, a centralized server, in order to provide a service to anybody. And of course, Napster came before Nutella and BitTorrent. And so that went from a centralized method of sharing files to a decentralized method of sharing files. And so when I read about Bitcoin, I knew instantaneously that if this software worked as described, and there was no reason to believe that it shouldn't work, because if you can share files in a distributed manner, there's no reason why you can't distribute a synthetic money in the same way. All that needed to happen was that the software was written correctly, and then the idea would work. And so I downloaded this Bitcoin client, which is exactly the same as the Nutella client, exactly the same as the BitTorrent client, and started to mine Bitcoin back in those super early days. We could do it on a single CPU machine. The mining part appeared to work, and I could send Bitcoin between one machine and another, and it would go down on one machine and up on another machine. And so it appeared to be working as a synthetic form of money. And so, barring any kind of software bugs or flaws in the system, the holy grail of synthetic money was actually in the world now. And then it became a question about what we're going to do with it. How are we going to get it to as many people as possible? Because in the same way that BitTorrent works when many people are sharing the same file, the same movie file or whatever it is, it can be spread all over the world very, very quickly. A lot of people need to be running Bitcoin so that they can all use it as a money peer-to-peer, literally peer-to-peer, without a central point of failure or control or anything. And so, fast forward again, it's very, very hard to mine Bitcoin, and I wanted more Bitcoin. And so it turned out that Amir Taki had started a business called Intersango, which he set up to sell people Bitcoin. You had to give him your Bitcoin address, send money to his Bitcoin to his bank account, the Intersango bank account, and then after the payment cleared and it showed up on his statement, he would send you the appropriate amount of Bitcoin to your address that you'd given him. And this took about 3 days to process. And I realized that 3 days is absolutely ridiculous, far too long to do something which is essentially writing an entry in a database. People all over the world top up their mobile phones with a voucher, and it happens instantaneously. They get these vouchers from supermarkets and convenience stores. And so I put two and two together and realized that there's no reason why this cannot be done for Bitcoin also.